This is 102 years ago on the Western Front, where soldiers from both the Allied and Central Powers put down their arms and participated in what would be known as the Christmas Truce. Men went into no man's land and held burials for the dead soldiers laying there out of respect. And they even went further and exchanged gifts, addresses for after the war just to make contact, and they even held soccer matches out in the middle of the field. I don't think there's a greater example that can really illustrate just the power that this holiday season has over people. That even in war, there is a time of year where people can simply stop fighting and be merry with one another. Now, I don't know about you, but for me personally, 2016 has been pretty rough, and in the United States, people are very divided. But right now, I can't help but feel good, and despite many people's differences, it seems like everyone around me feels the same. So that's why this week's pick before Christmas is the 2005 Oscar nominee for Best Foreign Film, Joyeux Noel. So happy holidays, everyone, and welcome to Dead to Cinema. I'm Stephen Malmax.
And I'm Brian Gillis. Like most people, we love going to the theater and catching latest releases. However, we can sadly put a big dent in our wallet.
Fortunately, living in the digital age makes the viewing possibilities endless from the comforts of home.
Many of these films that you can see right from your couch, we're ashamed to say we miss, despite labeling ourselves cinephiles.
So join us as one or both of us cross off a title from our list of shame.
It can be an all-time essential classic,
or an underrated piece of cinema that's worth giving a shot.
Hell, it might just be some trashy film we want the other's opinion on. So sit tight and join us as we pay off our debts, $1 at a time.
You are the very defenders of civilization itself, the forces of good against the forces of evil. For this war is indeed a crusade to save the freedom of the world.
C'est peut-être une diversion vu d'un seul coup, non?
Good evening. Do you speak English?
Yes, a little.
We were talking about a ceasefire for Christmas Eve. The outcome of this war won't be decided tonight. I don't think anyone would criticize us for laying down our rifles on Christmas Eve.
Don't worry. It is just for tonight.
Merry Christmas, Brian.
Not quite. Not when the episode's airing or when we're recording this.
It's building up to it. Christmas is, what, like 5 days from when this is airing right now?
Something like that.
Yeah, we're getting there.
It's like, how egocentric is Jesus that we celebrate the whole month of his birthday? Is he a valley girl?
Still, this is a season, right? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
This
How
is the
fucked
holiday
up
season.
is that?
We're in the spirit. We're building up to that, and we can all be merry. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be just the day. Hell, it could even be Christmas Eve.
Not my Messiah, just saying.
You know, Jesus
No,
was
that's what
a
I'm
Jew,
saying.
though.
It's not my Messiah. He's the...
I know, but he's still your boy.
No, he's not. It's like the Christianity and Catholicism exists because they were Jews that went, this guy is the one, and the rest of the Jews went, nah, he's not, and they're like, yeah, no,
Can we at
he
least
is.
agree that this is a time of year where we can all be merry? I mean, this would
It
be the
is the
weirdest
time of the
episode
year.
to suddenly be very divided on this stuff.
No, it is the time of the year. Last year we
Yeah.
celebrated with Bad Santa, Gremlins, and didn't we have another Christmas pick, or was it just
we had the
those two?
holiday special.
Oh, the holiday special. So we had three,
Yeah.
and then this year we got three also. So you'd seen this before, right? I remember you telling me about it.
I did. This was 10 years ago now. The reason I went is because I could get extra credit when it was in theaters for my history class. And it was a foreign film from France, so that was an opportunity for me and my dad to go see a movie, which, you know, he's away from his homeland often at that point, and it was something that could get him into it. My memory's kind of hazy. And I was kind of like a high school kid that just didn't give a shit, but I do remember him telling me stories about his grandfather at the time who was in the war and just sharing some experiences. And this was something that I wish I could cling to more now, just seeing this. But yeah, you know, I was really worried that this movie was not going to hold up to me now because it had been 10 years. But I remembered it being really effective then. And now I was worried I would be just way too cynical, thinking, oh, this is very manipulative and emotional. I don't think it's very emotional. I don't think it's manipulative, though. I mean, just because it's really one of those definitive feel-good movies for me that just seems like it's authentic, and because it's very human, and just like even in war, just shows like we still have that just that impulse of trying to understand each other, even when there's a language barrier. Like, and just starting with them just bonding through music. They barely talk in the movie, but everyone's out there on that field trying to find ways to connect. And it's still the reason why this pick exists is you needed terms of endearment to cry. I just needed to believe in people again this year, so that's why I took this out. And
you and me both, man. I've clearly been, well, less so now, but dealing with someone who lowered my faith in humanity. And yeah, this movie, it kind of does do that. It is a feel good, like as much as Terms of Endearment is the touchstone Lifetime movie. This is pretty close. I mean, this is like the 10 Days of Christmas type shit, to be honest.
I don't know about Lifetime, but I mean, damn.
Close enough. Like, if it's a real good budget for a Lifetime movie, but just the way...
It's pretty... I mean, considering it opens with epic LOTR shots, you know? Like, why'd I say that? I mean, sorry, Lord of the Rings shots.
LOTR.
Goddamn internet culture getting to me. No, seriously, those Highlands of Scotland, they're beautiful. It almost seems weird to me still, kind of, that it chooses to open that way with this really big, sweeping, epic score, but it's a really beautiful piece of music.
I think most people that are even have a passing interest in war and military and fun stories like that, like the whole 9 yards, that's a military slang that the U.S. flyboys would use, because that's how long the ammunition chains were for the planes, okay? And I don't know if it was necessarily the first time I heard of this story, because it's supposedly a true story, and let's just pretend it is.
It's not this incident. Like, this is a fictional account.
It's a fictional account, but yeah, there were ceasefires.
Yeah, there's no official documentation of like just what transpired in one location. This is just based off a bunch of different anecdotes of what happened at these ceasefires,
or what could have happened
in 1914, and they continued going on throughout the war. Like, and you know, like, just from really thinking about it, I think World War I may have been like that last war where people were civil, because World War II is really the extreme. Like, World War I was really...
There's a real bad guy during World War II. Like, you kind of see it here. It's like, even if you know the story with Franz Ferdinand and the Archduke and like all that shit, like it's such a weird just, oh, this happened, so let's retaliate. Whereas, yeah, World War II and post then, there is a bad guy. Like, there's a reason.
Straight up genocide. Yeah, like World War I, it's more just Germany trying to extend its... what's the fucking word?
Empire.
Imperialism.
Yeah.
That's what
we
it was.
We got the Ottoman Empire. We're the Kaisers. We're the Turks. Let's fucking take over the world. Let's make it all together, guys.
Even though you got the propaganda at the beginning of just trying to, like, just kids from a young age, which just that stuff is really powerful, of them just being trained to hate right away. What they have with the Brits, or I don't know if it's supposed to be a Scottish kid at that point, but what they say about the Germans, holy shit, is that intense.
It's weird. I was saying,
kill them all, even their women and children, so that they can never rise up again. That is fucking bleak.
They should have done it. World War II when it happened. But it's weird because, like I said, I don't know if the first time I heard this story was the story I'm going to share. But I remember I was in Mosier's class, and I want to say it was European cinema post-1960s, and that he brought this up because we saw No Man's Land.
That's a great movie.
I think because we were watching that, he mentioned this film, I want to say, and I was like, oh yeah, I heard about that. I did the research. Like, I knew about the soccer matches and the music and the fireworks going off and that kind of stuff. And so I had this expectation from the movie, especially the way you kind of, not kind of blew it, but you were like, oh man, it's so good. I saw it with my dad. It wasn't for me. I liked it.
Ouch.
Don't get me wrong, like it is definitely a feel-good movie, restores faith in humanity, all that kind of stuff. Really beautiful with the snow and all the different outfits, lots of nice production design going on. But I don't know, it's like we got this story of the ceasefire, and then you have the day before and the day after and the things they're doing. But I never really felt that I got to know any of the characters here. But, like, I felt like I got to know them for a second. Like,
it's a really large ensemble, and it's not necessarily about one individual character. This is about a group of people coming together.
It's about all the people and how they're all the same person. Like, you know, we're all human. It doesn't matter. You know, I'm German, but I'm Jewish, and I have a French wife. So, yeah, my French should be good, and your German shouldn't be. Like, I get it, but there's not even closure for most of the people in the ensemble. I mean, yes, some of them die, some of them, throw in the towel. This troop is leaving on the train, but like, what happened to the singing couple? Where'd they go? What about the letters? Like,
you might get your wish, really, because apparently the director's been talking about a possibility of a sequel.
Oh, that's
just
a
last
waste.
year of some of these guys. Yeah,
don't do that.
I think that speaks to how at least strong the characters are that you want to follow them. But really, this is just about everybody. Not to sound too cheesy and like
if you get
really deflate your point,
if
but
you
yeah,
get
no,
a lot
like,
of screen time though, the singing couple are the main characters. Diane Kruger and I don't know the other guy. I don't know the actor's name. They're the stars. It starts with their story, basically. If you cast out the Scottish thing, which is just like a soft open, it starts with their characters. You have the party they go to. They're the ones who really bring everyone together with song. You have them with the letters, like all of that romance stuff. Yet that scene, the only scene off the battlefield once the film starts, is them going away to do that moment. Like, even if this is a French production, the Germanic troops get like the spotlight almost.
I don't want to call you out and just connecting with the main thing, which is the relationship.
Yeah, well, I'm not even talking about the relationship. It's just like the characters. Like, they are clearly at the forefront. They're the ones that I cared most about. They're the one, like, well, you get to see their counterpart mostly.
I think there's equal value there, but I mean, like, they make a bigger impression in that really they are the ones that basically bring everybody together.
Yeah.
It is when Sprink goes out into no man's land and starts singing
Oh, Tannenbaum.
Yeah, and Silent Night. I feel like there is
Super
equal value there, honestly. Like, there's definitely stuff I cared a little less about. The stuff with the Scottish brothers,
Yeah, I didn't care for that.
One of them dies early on, but I was taken in by the fact that right after that, this kid is still writing letters back home, and
his mom, yeah.
He's lying through his teeth, not because he's a bad guy, just because he really can't come to terms with it and just acknowledge what happened.
Yeah, his character is really weird, though, because in terms of the Scottish troops, like, I loved the pastor. Like, he's probably the strongest character in the whole film. How funny, like, that scene when he's leading their general through, like, the shortcut, and
they send signals
in. They fire the rifle, so he trips and falls and shit.
With the trudgy, sir. It's just like, God damn it, man. Very sorry, sir. As a priest, I'm very used to the quiet.
Everything about him, you get that scene, like, he's the keeper when they have their soccer match. Like, everything about him, how he tries to combat, like, the idea. You get that one of those final moments in the film where he's talking to the Duke bishop. Or the bishop, whoever he is. And just real powerful stuff, especially because, he has that line about Jesus, like, I thought, this is this, and then the bishop goes on and do his sermon about kill them all, fuck them.
Just straight up just says, like, maybe you should reconsider your line of work. Like,
fucking
what
crazy.
A fucking asshole.
I lied, though. He's not my favorite character. My favorite character, and this is no surprise to any listeners of the show, was the cat.
The cat, isn't it?
It's the cat. Felix or Nestor.
Whatever
you want to call him. That whole scene... Oh my god, I love that scene, because I was like, at first glance of this cat, you get this orange tabby that's in the middle of this snow field, like hanging out in the trenches with these French military, and then you find out
just fighting back and forth about who gets the cat.
No, it's not even fun about who gets the cat. It's whose cat it is, and better yet, what its name is. And you have this guy going, "Oh, this is Nestor. He lives from this farm right here. He's French." He's like, "No, his name is Felix. He's German." Like, they bond over the cat, except they don't bond over him because...
Well, that's all they got, because they can't really speak the same language. But you want to hear a funny tidbit?
Huh.
A cat really did get arrested in World War I.
Really?
Yeah, that is true, because a cat was going around through no man's land with a note hidden in the collar, and the French generals got to hearing about it, and so they basically didn't know what to do, so they just went by the book and arrested the cat.
Fucking French people. That's the smartest thing we can do today. It's like...
Well, no, I guess it was just simple exchanges. Like, there was a note. I think it specifically said, like, hey, what regiment are you in? And that just sent red flags up. And so they were like, fuck it, arrest the cat. We can't let this happen. It's not just the cat, though, that they're bonding over. Like, it's little things like when they're finally out on that field, they're exchanging pictures of each other's wives or fraus, as the Germans say. They're exchanging chocolate. Like, it's not like
you
an amazing, like, oh, hey, we're all friends now. It's like, no, there's just they bond through music at first, singing Silent Night and O Tenenbaum, because they all recognize the themes. They might have different languages, but they all know what that is. And then they're out there on the field just exchanging through ways that they know. They're not the best of friends afterwards, but they're able to get along, and just that natural human curiosity of just getting out there and learning about each other just sets in, and it's really beautiful when it happens.
Yeah.
It's not overbearingly emotional. It's just, you just see it for what it is, and I can't help but be moved by that when I see that happen.
It's very moving. It's just, you can tell the title alone, or the fact that this is a somewhat historical event, the whole script comes from, how are these soldiers going to interact on Christmas Eve and Christmas? That's the whole movie. And so in those moments, yeah, it's real powerful. It's really great. Just the lead up to it, what happens after, it kind of feels not necessarily tacked on, but it tries to flesh out more. Like, everyone is in service to what is happening, the major event, and then they're kind of floating. Like, yes, the French lieutenant has his wife who doesn't talk to, gets a letter across through Daniel Bruhl. Like, oh, you have a grandfather, you're a grandfather now. Like, you have, like, these somewhat really touching moments, like, kind of good, but not everyone gets one of those. Like, it feels lopsided. Like, why is the French lieutenant's dad there, and why do you find out so late? What is up with Daniel Bruhl? How'd he get the letter there? Like, I would have loved to have seen, for instance, the lieutenant's butler. I would have loved to have seen him at home with his mom. That would have been awesome. Like, you talk up so much about it. You got the alarm clock at 10 a.m. He's making the coffee. I want to see my mom, and yet, oh, we're just gonna kill him, and you're gonna want to cry over it. Like, no, I wanted to see that moment. You
get the tragedy of it.
It's a tragic moment, but you already know before the movie starts. You know, after you watch it, you always knew that war is a horrible thing. This film doesn't have to. It doesn't have to pad that on. It doesn't have to remind you how bad war is, because it is bad. Like, the idea of this film is, even if you're at war and everyone hates each other, you can still love each other because we're human. You get that line that
centers around war, but it's hardly a war movie, because you probably get a minute and a half of Saving Private Ryan type battles. Where it's just...
I'd say like 5 minutes between the artillery fire, that one main trench scene, which is pretty awesome with the machine gun.
It goes by pretty quick, and it's just a bunch of images put together, and really it just, I mean, I don't know if you saw this with your headphones, but it's really just about that disorienting sound and just not necessarily knowing where you are, just to get that across, that no man's land is hell, which really just remembering that and then getting into when they're actually able to make peace, that makes it seem more miraculous out there on the field.
Well, not everyone, though. Like, I loved, like, the mass is, pretty powerful and shit. But I loved...
especially just how they're all at least able to connect through Latin.
But I loved the main Scottish kid who's sitting there with his brother, which was, like, the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And you have that German soldier embrace him, and he's like, oh, you're not into the piety either? Like, hey, you want some champagne? I got it from some Frenchies. And he has the knife out.
Still that disdain there.
Yeah,
carries on through.
It's
not all hunky-dory.
It's more than disdain. Like, that brother... the main Scottish kid, totally fucked up. Like, there's a reason why you get this narration where he's not letting go of his brother's death yet, that he hasn't accepted it. Like, everyone on this battlefield has lost someone they know, for a fact. Maybe it's not their brother, but they have all lost a comrade. But he's the one that's letting it really go to his head. And it's probably because, you got that opening scene where his brother's like, oh, we finally got excitement. We can go to Glasgow. There's going to be a war. He's like, let's get the fuck out of here. We're going to finally do something cool with our lives. Like, no more boredom. No more hanging out with this priest because, you're a weirdo or whatever. And like, they leave the room, and then all of the lights go out.
Candles go out.
Yeah. Like, it's like, oh, well, there you go. Like, the movie starts.
The end of innocence.
And
subtle.
So you have that, and throughout the movie, he kind of, like, stays that. He's just a flat character. He's pretty boring. But everyone else, they're changing. Like, Daniel Bruhl goes from, like, a hard-ass lieutenant to...
Just to go back, though, to that kid, I mean, I don't want to say boring. It's just, what he doesn't
he's flat.
Really...
He
doesn't talk about what he's going through, and we see, like, just enough of it.
Where's the fucking scene, though? Where's the scene where his literal pastor doesn't console him on Christmas because his brother is dead? Like, you never get a moment in this film. Like, yes, he does try to go out there and save his brother.
I
get that. But after the fact, after he's dead, you don't get an apology, you don't get like a prayer, you don't get a sermon, you don't get shit. Like he kind of just leaves the younger brother out in the wind, like whatever, cool. Like
I guess that's fair. No, I mean it's
they start the movie together. They're the first characters you see, and then they never have a moment together. They never exchange dialogue really. Like things like that just don't match. They don't work for me. Like I said, the singing couple being imprisoned in France. Let me see them. Like you get the train of the Germans. Perfect. That was awesome. Like you're gonna be going to Prussia. You're going through the fatherland. You're not gonna take a stop.
Pretty much all gonna die.
Yeah, it's like you want
yeah.
to know why. You already know why. Like let's fuck up your harmonica. Okay, we'll sing anyway. Like they got the perfect closure. All those guys. But almost everyone else, besides the pastor, is just like, yeah. I'm like,
there's a lot of characters to go through and just a lot of different stuff to see, and it's not really again, it's not about one person specifically. It's about an event and just this group of people and like everyone else just going through different things. And I think by nature, having large ensembles like that and cutting to different characters, some do get left out.
The event is important. I already knew about it before the movie. It is life-affirming and heartwarming. And as great as it is, like those 40 minutes or so, maybe an hour even, I just don't think that the film as a whole, as good as it is, kind of makes it a must-watch. And I say that hesitantly because Daniel Bruhl, and what I've seen him in before this, really love him. Diane Kruger, same deal. Like, you like Inglourious Basterds? You got two of the actors here. Cool. Diane Kruger, first time I saw her National Treasure, loved her. Got to see her tits here. Pretty nice. But you got her lip syncing this shit. She clearly doesn't.
Yeah, she's not singing.
No, she's
definitely.
She did ballet. Okay, she's not a singer.
Well, come on,
and it's
she's
very
not an opera singer. Come on, neither of them are.
Well, it's very obvious on her part though. You're watching this. She gets so much screen time singing, and it's not her. Like it wasn't even passable. She wasn't doing it. Like him. Almost.
I was not distracted, honestly. It blended well. I wasn't distracted by any lip movements at all, so they both worked for me.
Her lip sync worked, just I could tell. I could just look at her, I'm like, there's no way that you have that voice, that's not you, that's not a possibility. And moments like that break the realism, that the verisimilitude is snapped, just... I'm like, well, now I don't really care about your character. Like, the scene that, like, of their romance, the most powerful scene for me is when she sees him for the first time, and he's like, oh, I have lice, and she just doesn't even say...
Yeah, she's just like, fuck it.
Yeah, she doesn't say a goddamn word. She just hugs him anyway. And as someone who has gotten lice from their girlfriend, let me tell you... No, you don't just go, yeah, I don't care. No, that fucking sucks. Never get lice.
Unless you're at war and you don't see each other in a while and you don't know if you're going to see this person again. I mean, there's this line that I love when she basically describes the relationship when she's getting permission to see him, and it's just, the guy asks, hey, it's only for a night. Is this worth it? It's like, our minutes are longer than yours, which is true. When you're in love, time really moves differently.
Yeah. Like 5 minutes in bed.
I'm pretty sure for you recently, you can definitely attest to that. I would bet, right?
Yeah, that one.
I mean, just like right when that's said, it's like, to me, just like the way that she says that, like, makes me believe in that relationship right away. But between the two of them, even if the singing distracted you, it's when they're singing for the prince, and he's still in that mind space where he can't really sing, and he knows he's singing for a bunch of people, but then she just pulls him into it, and he's just singing for her and with her, and that's where his mind is at. That's where the shots stay, and he's fully into it in that moment without really just choking in front of everybody. And that, like, I can't really bag on the dubbing because, like, yeah, I thought that moment was absolutely beautiful.
No, yeah, that moment was great. There's a couple, like a literal couple of dialogue that's used there. It says, like, don't sing for them, that's sing for us. And then when they're in no man's land, he says, like, don't sing for me, sing for them. And yeah, that's kind of the whole movie. It's like, those are kind of the characters too.
It is interesting because they're basically singing for the people. Like, the people out there on the field, they're all farmers and stuff that, they don't get to go to the opera or anything. There's far more that's at stake that's worth protecting on that field compared to when you're just seeing, the generals that are up there in their castle, or just the prince, like high society basically, right? As opposed to, like, those that would really appreciate that would be really moved by something, which it even has a bigger effect to those guys, because when they hear just Silent Night, or like everybody on that field, and they all discover that they actually do have more in common just based on that. Like, oh, you know that too? Like, you know that tune here? Let me play it on the bagpipe. And then they sing it. The words might not be the same, but they all feel the same thing. And that moment just has way more power than the educated high society that just is there just to have nice things, you know?
It's crazy because it's something that we just take for granted now because it's so far removed. But radio only existed like 20 years
Yeah.
when World War One was happening. Most of these people on the battlefield have never used a radio. They definitely didn't have vinyl. They didn't have like Edison's wax cylinders. Most of them had probably never heard real music before. Like, yeah, like guitar, or like a banjo, harmonica and shit, the bagpipes.
Well, definitely not opera. Definitely
Not opera,
voices
not
that quality.
not professional singers. So that had to have been a real, like, if it was real, a real powerful moment that just made it feel, Christmas. Like the Germans getting the Christmas trees, which I don't understand. It's just like it looks
I love
really.
Daniel Bruhl's reaction to like what you realize later
Yeah.
he's Jewish. He's just like, what the fuck is this doing here?
It's like what
When they put
what
him
is
up
this
when the
shit?
guy's crawling over to just map out all their artillery, it's like, what the fuck is going on?
I just like the way the Christmas trees looked because that's not something you see anymore. I mean, I went Christmas shopping with my brother and his girlfriend a couple of weeks ago, and we're like in the Home Depot parking lot and shit, like cutting them up and taking a look. But these are like saplings that they cut off the ground. They don't have electricity, so they have like these candles hanging out off of them. And I'm looking
They
at them like,
basically all look like the Christmas tree that Charlie Brown picked out.
yeah, and I'm looking at them like, that's a fire hazard. I catch on fire. I'm like, wait, no, that's not true because these are like
Yeah, that's
fresh
true.
trees.
How did they
They're
do
not
that?
sprayed
Like-
with the fake snow and shit. Like that's
Yeah,
how
I
it
kept
had
thinking
to have
that, though.
been.
It's like, how could they protect those flames? Really, like that's got to be.
It's
just
cold as
looking at
fuck.
That, it's really cool.
No, it was cold as shit. Like there's no way that those trees are gonna catch on fire. Like they should have. If I was them, to be 100% honest, I probably would have lit the trees on fire and just like gathered around them, made a bonfire in no man's land. Cause you have any idea how cold it had to be on that night? Like it was probably like below zero. I have to imagine. You're just like in some French field in the trenches, nothing there, just barren wasteland with dead bodies around you. Like how cold it had to have been that night in France 102 years ago. Like
I really can't imagine.
Yeah,
and you know what? The Germans are gonna have to have it worse on the Russian front because that's.
Oh yeah, they died on the train. 100%.
Oh
They
yeah,
died.
no, for sure.
No, yeah. It's funny though. It's like Daniel Bruhl, he's so good here. He's obviously great in Glorious Bastards. Why didn't he really get anything? Where'd his career go? I know
He did Rush. He's in Captain America.
Oh yeah, he's in Rush.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff.
He's so good in Rush.
You know,
Captain America.
It wasn't really, but I'm saying he was in it.
Yeah,
like,
he's in it,
well
yeah.
respected enough that he gets stuff. Like this was probably the first time I saw him in a movie. It was either this or The Educators. I don't know which is this really good German movie that came out around the same time. But it's like this is one of those guys where you realize that you'd seen him before without really knowing it, because I saw him here and I was like, oh shit, that's Daniel Bruhl. Like I had no idea. I'd seen this movie before, but
this is
now I
probably-
can put a name to that face.
It's probably one of his first movies, though. I would have to assume, just based, we already talked about the casting. Like Tarantino probably saw this and went like, yeah, I need some Germans. I like those too. Let's get
I mean, it's
going.
funny to I was thinking Inglourious Bastards too. Just how many movies are there where French, German, and English are like the main languages of the entire movie that each take up a decent third chunk of it? Those are the only two, right? Just this one and Inglourious Bastards.
No, there's gotta be tons of them.
that are spread that way.
Yeah,
Like,
that I'm
that I
not
can think
well
of.
versed in international films, especially productions like these. But the Red Violin, even though it's not those
Well, no,
three,
it's funny the connection that's those three languages, and they're both basically war movies. Very different, mind you, but just a little loose connection there.
I guarantee that it's happened other time. Oh yeah, he was in Burnt. No, yeah, Daniel Bruhl's in a good amount of things. It's just he doesn't get a big role often. Like I like Zemo and Civil War is like an okay size, but that's not about him.
Considering he's the villain of Civil War, that's still a pretty big one.
He's not exact like he's the real villain, but that's the movie is Tony Stark versus Captain America. Like that's the fucking movie. Like
Because Americans don't care about Daniel Bruhl.
no.
They're just like, no, let's pay attention to our guys.
Anyone
he could be the villain,
out
but
there, if you've seen this and you've probably seen Glorious Bastards, check out Rush. He's so
Seriously.
fucking awesome in that movie.
Yeah.
That movie's totally underrated. No one's seen
Like,
it.
you will not recognize him at all.
No, yeah,
Like, you really won't. He's that good.
That movie is fantastic, but he's the I don't know, everything about that movie is really good. I loved it. I loved how like the
Yeah, no, it was
archival
one of the best
footage.
movies of the year.
It was actual archival footage on the TVs, like from the '70s when you watch the races. Like there's so much detail, just the way it was shot, just everything. Anyway, this isn't about Rush, even though you should see that. One of Ron Howard's best films. Yeah, I can't buy this one.
You're killing me.
I liked it. You know, it spoke to me. It was kind of beautiful, but there's too many loose ends. You're using the ensemble makeup as a crux, like or crutch rather.
Just,
like
yeah,
that's
like, when
okay.
you do
Like
that,
I can buy that, except
Mhm.
no, because like I said, the French lieutenant gets the closure. The German soldiers, they get closure. The errand boy gets closure. The pastor gets closure. But then
You know,
this
in
character,
war,
that
not
character.
everybody gets the closure that you want.
But this isn't war.
really.
This
Like,
is
they
a
all
movie.
they all get split up and they all have to move on. That's part of the tragedy is that they all have
No,
these
if you
few
kill the
wonderful days
character,
and then they're split apart.
kill the character, that's fine. We Dirty Dozen, kill all the characters, the ones that live, they get the closure. Like Glorious Bastard, same shit.
Yeah, but okay,
Like,
but those are completely different movies.
I'm just
both
saying,
of which are fictional.
if you're making a movie, if you're not even a movie, if you're making a story and you make me invest time into these characters, living with them for an hour or two, that I care about them, I'm supposed to be affected by their tragedy and their love and everything. Let me see how it ends. Let me know who they are, not just what they were.
Well, I think the way that it sounds more like you want something that's closer to Titanic.
No,
that it is,
like-
yeah, no, not that's like creating maybe a bit more focus on specific characters that you're following the journey with, because Titanic has a large cast, but it's not about the ensemble. There are two characters at the very core of that, and you do get closure there at the end of that experience.
It's sophomoric
Here-
to show these two singers for as much as you do and not show how they
I
end.
feel there's equal time, honestly, for
No.
like, almost all around. Yeah,
no,
on each side.
Like they're
I
the
never-
only characters that are off the battlefield together. Period.
Mm-hmm.
The outside of the cold open, the only characters. They
Like,
have
see, to
scenes
me-
that have nothing to do with war. It's we love each other. That's sing. That's fuck. That's do this. That's run away. It's just a romance.
That's a good enough story, but I just
It
didn't
is a good
feel
enough
it wa-
story,
Yeah,
but-
I didn't feel it was the central one of it. I felt it had balanced time to play along with everything else. And I mean, really, I just thought it was more interesting in the fact of like it's just an example of what war does to relationships. Like, you talk about that moment with the lice, and okay, yes, maybe now if you're in a situation like that again, you'll be like, no, fuck no. But in that moment when they're split up for that long, I think it's 5 months at that point since the war started, and you really had no idea within that time whether you're going to see that person alive again.
No, I love that scene. It's great. I'm not ridiculing it. It's just that scene is the reason that they should have got closure. It is not too hard. Okay, you have 3 lieutenants.
I mean, they do
The
have
French
closure. They go
lieutenant is a
away.
main
They get
character.
arrested. Mm-hmm.
Just think about this. The French lieutenant's a main character. The German one's a main character. The Scottish one, we don't give a fuck about. I don't know his name. You only see him when they have their huddle. He never gets time in the barracks with his friends. He's nothing. He means nothing. On the Scottish side, you have the pastor, and you have the younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
What's up with that lieutenant? Why doesn't he get equal playtime? He means nothing. I'm okay with that.
Again, there are a ton of characters.
Yeah,
to
there's a-
juggle
there's
with,
a
and
ton
you
of
gotta make
characters.
choices on who to follow, and you're following each one for different reasons because they're all.
The reason this film didn't connect with me, the reason I can't recommend it, is because it feels like an event with things on the side. It doesn't necessarily feel like
That's
a
what it
movie.
is.
Yeah, that's what it is. And
I-
for what it is, I really enjoyed it, and it is a really great Christmas movie. But I'm not putting it in that upper echelon of, oh yeah, I'd buy that for $1. Like, everyone come check this one out. Like, sophomoric is the term I use, and that's one I'm stick to, and it is fitting that this is the director's second film.
That's a rough term, but I mean, I'll respect you for it. For me, it is a total buy. But yeah, it is. I think we can agree that it is different in the sense that this is more about educating people on the event. Because
Of
I
the
do know,
event,
I do know when this came out, this wasn't just school extra credit for me, even though I ended up really enjoying it. But I mean, yeah, even at the time, this event really wasn't in history books, and not many people heard about it. In fact,
It's an urban legend.
yeah, like I think a bunch of people in France, like in because I did sort of skim through some of the documentaries, and when they showed the film in France, then there were some Q&As where people were like, yeah, I didn't know about this. Like, how true is this? And there is that question of how much of this is kind of manipulated and just for the sake of artistry, or like if a bunch of it really did happen, but I'm guessing back then, like, it's still a fascinating situation in that, I doubt that they executed people because of this, even though they were planning to, because word of course would have gotten out and people would have found out about it. And I mean, yeah, like as far as I know, I think the way that they discovered how these things happen was that people in the UK found out because the military post didn't read their letters back then. So people went to newspapers and stuff, and all the other ones that you see in the movie, they just read those and then they didn't bother sending them out. But your points are fair, even if I disagree with them. But yeah, this isn't like a bio, like, oh, I'm going to watch this every year. Like 10 years was enough time, and I'll probably be compelled to revisit it for
I could see myself,
whatever reasons I've got.
I could see myself watching it again. It's a beautiful event. It's a great story. It's just it's not actualized enough for me to fully embrace it. Like it's not related to this movie, but like I saw that Nerve film a couple of nights ago. Same deal. Like it starts off so good. I love the world. I love the characters. I love the way it's shot. And then you get towards the end, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like Hot Tension was like a similar thing this year, except that was more, oh, let's make a twist ending and piss the audience off. This was just, there's so much here that's so good. It's so close to me loving it, and yet it's like when you ever build a house of cards, and all of a sudden you're about to put the roof on it and it falls out from under you. That was kind of like this movie for me. I was like, it's so, it's almost good.
Here's the last point that I should make, and I can't believe I didn't even fucking say it yet, but this is a Christmas movie, and
totally Christmas movie.
Just for me, like, it really does remind me about what I love about Christmas, and that, like, I feel like just this time of year for me, it's like things are just, the feeling is usually the same, and I always feel pretty good around this time of year, and I freaking love that. Just despite whatever shit is going on in the world, that people can still bond just through this time of year and still just be cool with each other. And I think really just that's what I love about it. That's definitely what I needed now to see. But yeah, like it really gave me that holiday feeling that I love. And I didn't even get to talk about just like how emotional just the music is. That theme, I'm Dreaming of Home, like. I watched this movie about a week ago, whereas you just finished this one. But when I'm walking around, like, yeah, I've just had that theme playing around in my head. I'm humming it as I go, and really, it's definitely one of those things where, like, I didn't really remember it the first time I saw it, but now it's definitely just sticking with me, and I'm probably going to be humming that randomly, just in occurrences when I'm just getting through the day. I don't know, or maybe just next year around this time of year. But yeah, it. Just as a holiday movie, man, like as a movie that just really got to what I'm feeling around this time of year, I really loved it for that. So that's another reason to check it out, not just as a slice of history, but really I think just as a Christmas movie, right when they're singing Silent Night, like out there on the field, like it's such a strange emotion to describe, just that feeling that you have during the holidays. But yeah, I think really the moment that happens, it kind of oozes into you and you just get that sense of it right when they start getting together on the battlefield, and it's just beautiful when it happens, and I really love that feeling. Like, I can't ignore that.
I might be Jewish, or more accurately agnostic, but there's something just infectious about Christmas music.
And that's why you have Daniel Brühl there to say, hey, I'm Jewish, but you know what? I appreciate what you did.
It's not even that. I'm just saying,
they needed that.
Like, in the real world, I find myself at random times, not even in December, singing Christmas songs. Just because
it's not
they're good.
Just a religious thing for me.
It's good music. It's catchy music. Like there is definitely something about the holidays
there's
between
Christmas specials. Yeah.
No, I don't even mean Christmas specials. Just
I'm just getting to like
and,
one of the many things. It's like it is a time of year where there's just something about the feel and the weather.
Like, maybe not the weather.
I don't see. I freaking it's not just. There's a difference between cold and then winter cold. And winter cold I freaking love, and it's all those elements that you brought in and more, and then just combine that with the weather and just the feeling of the environment around you. I don't know what it does, but I really love just that feeling. Like, I mean, even Black Christmas brought that joyful feeling back. You know, I talked about it last week for a little bit when those carolers came out, and then of course it just shattered my skull, like right when it happened, just emotionally. But it's still a great movie for very different reasons for what it does. But yeah, just, I mean, I really love that feeling when it happens here. And I kind of, you know, I've even been rewatching stuff like Home Alone, which is not a great movie. It's still fun, but something about this season, when you're able to contain that feeling, it's very special to me.
There is something special about the holidays where it's not even just in terms of family, and the film articulates it very well that it's a time to come together. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, if you don't like each other, if you're fighting. There's something about it. And, you know, for me, like, I wasn't talking to my brother for like 2 months basically, and then Thanksgiving rolled around and I saw him, and now we're talking again. And that could be because, you know, Christmas is here, or Hanukkah, or whatever reason. But yeah, this film does a pretty good job of showing that you can literally be enemies and being like cutthroat and want to kill each other, and yet for some reason, not necessarily because it's, you know, our Savior's birthday, but just it's so cold outside that you might as well feel warm together. There's something special about it, and it could be the music or any number of things. But there's a reason that for 2,000 plus years, every time it comes to this time of the year, people love each other.
Although, you know, the sad thing is that I do think this might be the last war where something like this could have happened, because not only was the enemy obvious in World War II, but, you know, there's Vietnam, and then there's Iraq, and then
so what you're really saying is
there's ISIS now, and I'm just
all
now
the
basically
enemies
what I'm getting
now
at is, hey,
don't,
we're completely fucked,
yeah, no, well,
because
all the enemies
not everybody else
pick.
knows Christmas.
Yeah, they don't know the Christmas.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm saying. So what the hell are we gonna find a bond over now?
Thanks for listening. We hope it's been a pleasure. If you like this show and you want to hear more of our wonderful voices on a weekly basis, check out 2 Cents. I'll recap what's happened in film, TV, and tech news.
We're also on the titular Dollar Review Show, a spoiler-free critique of new releases or anything we've discovered on our own, whether that be TV, music, etc.
You can find all of our content at dollarreviews.net. Follow us on Twitter or like us on Facebook at Dollar Reviews.
And we're also on Google Play Music, iTunes, Pocket Cast, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, just about anywhere on the internet, with hours of content available to you for free. But for those of you that feel that the show is worth your dollar, you can send us a donation at patreon.com/dollarreviews. Contributions not only earn our undying love, but they also make it possible for us to improve our recording equipment and to give you the highest quality episodes possible. But more importantly, they'd be helping us acquire the content to review. You know, trips to the multiplex are expensive, and the more donations we receive, the more films we can review for your listening pleasure.
If you listen somewhere we're currently not available, you'd like to contribute some talking points, send a Death to Cinema request, or if you just want to laugh at us, you can do so by reaching out to us on social media or send an email to brian@dollarreviews.net.
Or you can email me as well, steve@dollarreviews.net.
You can follow me personally on Twitter at Brian Gillis, that's BRYONGILLIS, and now you know how to spell the email too, and also under the same name on the lovely site Letterboxd, which acts as my film diary, where I rate films I'm watching, write the occasional review, and even sometimes compile lists.
You can also find me on Twitter at S_MTX, and also follow my film diary at Letterboxd under the same name, where I log everything I watch, and sometimes write brief reviews.
That's it for this week. Until next time, keep the change.